Well, hello there, and welcome to a Film a Day Award Season 2023 with me, Jordan Woodley. I feel rather fortunate to be able to discuss Amsterdam because, frankly, its place in the awards lists, I suppose, its existence, its mere presence in any nomination, and frankly, and this is a confession of me wanting to talk about it more than it really deserving, because it is only nominated for costume design. But this is an opportunity to talk about a theme that seems to have cropped up quite a number of times across the videos that I've been making over the course of this short series, which is about the ambition of wanting to create a non-franchise return to all-star cast, veering away from genre pictures. When I say genre pictures, I mean anything that isn't a straight drama. So that's science fiction, fantasy, comedy. You know, the idea of going back to very much in the 90s model, when I always think of this, of films that are preferably a period drama or a contemporary drama with really famous faces, that is just focused on a family thing or a murder mystery, but it's not a murder mystery in a particularly it's not really about a murder mystery, it's about the drama of it. You think of something like An American Beauty, for instance, because studios love that, seemingly. Directors seem to love that because, again, it plays into being able to tell original stories. And, of course, actors, it gives them a chance to really stretch their legs and play these interesting characters. The problem is that at its core, it has to be a good script. It actually has to be a story that somebody wants to tell. And if not, a director has to have an ambition for it. To his credit, with Titanic, James Cameron, this almost fits into that model. But James Cameron, even though Titanic, the story is interesting, but it's not, when it comes to the central romance and the character drama, is interesting, but it's not particularly exciting. James Cameron obviously had an ambition for the production of it. And so you get that sense of, there's a desire to create these, but there has to be a reason for them to exist. Amsterdam is the prime example where it felt like there was a core comment here. There was a desire to make this story, but it's very hard not to be cynical about it and to say that on some level this was almost created not by a machine, but if you were to look at it on a skeleton level, the idea of going, who are some of the prominent actors? John David Washington, Margot Robbie, Christian Bale, and they're all great character performers. What social issues are important? Let's slip those in. Discussions on race, on discussions on American political landscapes, and the difficult relationship of extreme right-wingism into sort of contemporary society. Let's put that in. What do people like? People like period dramas, and it feels a bit like people talk about the Oscar bait syndrome, where and I don't necessarily believe in the Oscar bait, that the idea that people sit down and go, we want to win an Oscar, this is how we'll do it, by ticking these boxes and doing these things. But this film feels as close to that as I would be comfortable referring, that it feels like, rather than a sincere story that characters are trying to tell, writers and directors are trying to tell, it feels like people wanting to do some kind of message movie tries to tie it into sort of a character piece that has some interesting aspects to it, and also do a sort of period drama, murder mystery thing. And the honest core of it is that it is a mess. Amsterdam is a huge mess of a film that frankly is confused, doesn't have focus, and frankly there are points in the film where I think, oh, this is good. John David Washington always gives a great performance, and I'm interested to see what he was going to do, and there are sections of the film where he does quite interesting stuff. Christian Bale really, again, is stretching his legs, really trying to play a very different kind of character than the ones he's played before. Margot Robbie, again, you can see that all of these actors, and even things like Taylor Swift having a very small appearance in the film, curious thing to do, but at its core it's confused, and it doesn't quite know what it wants to be, and it gets very soapboxy towards the end, and again it tries into history. It actually tries to tie into an actual historical event, but also try to make commentary on contemporary society, and it just feels like it has no idea what the story is, what the themes are, and it just is trying to throw so much into it to try and be important that frankly it becomes forgettable, it becomes irrelevant. Yeah, it is a strange little film, is Amsterdam, and I think unfortunately people will look to it historically as an example of where that kind of storytelling can really lose itself. I mean, it's no Michael Cimino's Heaven's Gate, which is the ultimate gold standard of just complete studio control, losing control, or director having too much control. But this is an example of just like where more focused eyes needed to look at this and say, what is this? Anyway, thank you for joining me. See you next time.